Is that better? I am a doofus. It should be on now. Y'all getting the mic? Cool. That's mainly because I'm an idiot, so we're just going to call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, if you're tuning into this, odds are you've either built a big system or you are planning on, yeah, or you're planning on building one. Now, old age, absolutely, my friend. That is definitely a thing. So, I have leaves. Get my leaves. Leaves are man, I got leaves and crab apples. Oh my God, at the crab apples, guys. These things are a freaking infestation. Yeah, you said your big system is in your lounge room. I'm down with that. I'm getting started doing, and you know what? What I'm going to talk about applies. These things, holy crap, they weigh like 2 pounds. You could kill somebody with one of these. They're heavy. They're all over the damn yard. So anyway, yeah, what I'm going to talk about applies to home theater and just overall, well, a lot of things actually. But in this particular case, we're talking about car audio. So bear with me. Knowing what to do and when to do it in car audio or in any project that you're going to plan. The things you don't want to do are get halfway into a project and not be able to finish it. Finding a way to start the project. Buying the wrong stuff for the project, because then you have to rebuy it. These are things we think about, but one of the things we don't think about is that projects grow. Okay? And projects grow on a foundation. So whatever the foundation is that you lay down initially is going to dictate how your project grows and how far it can grow. When it comes to this stuff, there are some basics that we have to think about. First of all, we need to know what size enclosure we're going to be able to build inside of our vehicle if we're doing big car audio. Okay? That's going to dictate how much airspace we have to have for subwoofers, things of that nature. We're going to need to know about electrical. These are all foundational things. Deciding on those up front and building them so that you can grow is important. But that's one layer of this, right? The second layer of this, my favorite MMA fighter is my brother. Yeah. Jeremy Dwight Thompson. Look him up, out of Arkansas. Anyway. There we go. Yeah, he hits hard. So anyway, the thing is, if you're starting out on a tight budget and you're trying to eventually get somewhere, right? You might be inclined to buy less expensive. Let's say you're going to put, you want to put 415s. Okay, you got that figured out. Figured out you got enough airspace. You're going to do 415s, right? So you go look at the 15s that you can buy, that you have the right requirements for the system you're building, because that stuff's all very important. Then you go to sorting it by how much they cost. Well, man, The ones I really want are $600 a piece. But if I get these $300 ones, I can get 4 of them, for $1,200. Whereas if I get these $600 ones, I'm only going to be able to, to get 2 because I don't have enough money for that. This is a thing that you're going to come into at some point. This argument you're going to have with yourself about something, and you need this much, but you can afford this much, and so you buy a cheaper version of this much. The problem with that is, at some point, you're going to want to expand. You're going to want to grow. And now you're stuck with a whole bunch of stuff that you wish you didn't have. You could have this. It may be that you want 15s, but all you can afford is 12s. But then later, when you go to add to it, you're stuck with all that equipment, and you got to try to get rid of it and all that stuff. Plus, the enclosure is built for 12s. Everything is done for 12s. So now you're stuck, right? Start out, my advice on that is to start out with the equipment that you want to run. If you're going to run 4 XYZ 15s, that's what you need, right, to make this all work. But you can't afford it, buy 2 of them. Put plugs in there, just buy them one at a time. But don't buy stuff that you're going to replace. Buy stuff that can carry you forward. You may have to add more to it. You may only be able to get 1 or 2 instead of 4. But when you get the next one and the next one, you're not getting rid of stuff. You're just adding to it. That's the key. You don't want to buy equipment that you're going to wind up ditching for something else. Buy something that's overbuilt for what you're doing so that you can continue to use it as your build progresses, because there's no end to this. And Big Dave says his big system is in the lounge room. Prime example. You get your setup with your tower speakers, right? You want your subwoofer. You know that you need a 500 watt 10-inch sub to do the job, right? So get a 1,000 watt 15-inch sub. You can always turn it down. Buy a thing that's going to be more than what you need. Later on, you'll appreciate making that decision. Go big. So, are there any questions on this subject matter? Because I am down for questions today. And you guys forgive me, but I do smoke during lives. Motivated. Motivation. Oh my God. Fighting the yunt twos. Man, holy cow. So I deal with that all the time. Motivation is something that I struggle with. What I tend to do is jump in, like whenever you're checking out the water in the pool, and you're wanting to know whether or not it's, cold or not, or hot. By the way, I'm going to show you guys what I got going on back there so you'll understand. Do a thing. I got my 412s back there, which is what brought me to talking about this. So, 412s. I got 4 pretty dang good 12s. I made the right decision in that I got 12s. But see, where I screwed up was prior to those 12s, I had another system built in here, and I put 4 12s in that. So then whenever I went to put bigger, better subs in, I was stuck with a 12, because I had that existing build in here. So then whenever that build come out, the 12s just keep going. It's hard to get off that train once you get on. because you've got this made for this and this made for this, and it goes in layers, and you just keep, and then you have to totally ditch a whole bunch of stuff and restart, if you're doing if you haven't picked the thing that you're going to end up with. So that's what I'm getting at. I know this is kind of crazy, and it's all sideways, and I apologize to anybody who is confused right now. But the whole idea is to think about it before you do it, and you want to at least build the right size. Go with 12s or 15s, whatever it is you think you're going to end up with. Start out with that. It makes everything less painful later on whenever you inevitably do have to change things. So are there any questions today? I don't know if my chat is functional, so anybody have anything they want to ask before I continue? No. All right. The Big Food Channel. Yeah. So, well, that was all I really had to talk about. Now I'm confused. Nobody has questions. It's a sad state of affairs. Maybe well, what's going on here? No. Well, okay. All right. But motivation. Okay. So, do something that is irreversible. Like, if you're going to rebuild something, if the objective is to build a new thing, take a hammer to the old one. Just destroy it. Rip something off of it. Break it. Just all in a one explosive move. Just at that point, you're committed. You see. Hitman says the lithium batteries are out of stock. Are you talking about Trunk Thunder? Let me see here. EXO, yeah. Bruce is a hell of a dude, man. He's a really, really awesome dude. So, yeah. Hitman is talking about Trunk Thunder Lithium. These guys. If you're trying to get some Trunk Thunder Lithium stuff, just hit Brandon up. Tell him how much power you're wanting to drive. How much power, what kind of amp you're trying to push with it, and he can hook you up with something special. So talk to him about that. I mean, I highly suggest that you do this. Brandon is very knowledgeable, and he'll get you straight, get you on something that'll do what you're wanting to do, very specifically. Let's see here. The Banger 5K, yeah, they'll come in and go out of stock because he gets a shipment of stuff in, and then they go on sale, and people buy up everything very quickly, and then he'll be out of stock. It's not a steady stream; it's a lump, So it is what it is. Let's see. But yeah, Rick says, yo, XO was giving you some love on that Kicker Dudes channel. That's what's up. That would be Andy. Living Loud with Andy. Great dude. Yeah, Bruce, I've known Bruce for a long time. Back in the day, though, he knew me as Trucker 9000, which was my old channel's name. And I got in touch with him way back then. And what's hilarious, guys, this blew my freaking mind, okay? Totally blew my mind. I never met Bruce in person, okay? So he shows up at the show, the GP show here in Missouri. He gets out of the car. He's walking across over talking to somebody. I come walking up from a distance. He spots me and immediately knew who I was. He's like, "Hey, it's Trucker 9000. Oh, you know, it is crazy EXO personality." And I'm like, wow. I mean, I didn't have to introduce myself. He knew who I was as I was walking across the parking lot. That blew me away. But yeah, he's a hell of a nice guy. He just dropped a video too. I spotted it whenever I came out here. I'm going to check that out. I don't know what it is yet, but he dropped something. So, Hitman, how much amperage are you trying to, or how much wattage are you trying to push with your battery? I'm curious about that. If you're wanting to do, I don't know if he has the 10Ks in stock or not, but either one of those two are solid for 5 to 10K. The 5Ks can handle 10,000 watts with a big high output alternator. The 10Ks can handle 15,000, maybe more, with a big high output alternator. And they'll both handle their rating with a stock alternator. So a 5K will handle 5,000 watts with a stock alternator. The 10K will handle 10,000 watts with a stock alternator. Both of those batteries are phenomenal. But he's got other stuff. He does custom rigs, custom battery banks. All you have to do is hit him up, tell him what your specs are, and he'll suggest something that's going to work for you quite well. And if you really want to go custom, he can do that too. He builds custom banks, really nice ones. I've seen him do some really cool work. So, me, I have a dilemma. I have 412s and a ported flat wall, and I want to be running 415s. Yeah, so I'm kind of stuck at this point. I mean, all I could possibly do would be sell the 12s and try to take that money and buy the 15s, or maybe trade someone. But who wants to trade down to a set of 12s from a set of 15s? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe there's somebody out there that wants to do it, but it's just, yeah, not really a logical thing, you know. I mean, I got 4 very nice 12s. You know, they're solid 12s, but still, they're 12s, man. And do I embrace that? Do I just keep going? See, that's the thing. I want to do a bigger build in here. I want to do a B-pillar style wall and do possibly a 4th order wall, but I don't want to go through the process of building that wall, making it look all pretty and everything for 412s, and then wind up, you know, getting the 415s, and the whole wall would have to be completely redone. It would have to be a completely different build. So I would be, see what I'm saying? I don't want to build it for what I've got, but I don't know if I can get what I want to build it with. And I'm just kind of stuck in this weird space. I don't have the money to do any of these things. For me to get stuff, I have to work hard at it to get to it, you know, trading, bartering, and things like that. And so I don't want to start down a path that I don't want to go down. I want to start down the correct path so that my end result will be what I want. I don't know. I'm up for any suggestions. You guys have any ideas, advice, anything like that, I'm all about it. So, but the problem that I'm in is the reason why I decided I would make this little live video was to talk about how not to get in this predicament, so that maybe somebody else out there won't be struggling with being in that same scenario. That's the idea. That was the reason for this live. And I know I'm just rambling. I usually work off of comments and questions. If you guys have any comments or questions, this is the time to throw them out there. And we will do our best to answer them. Have you guys checked out sixth order? Sixth order, out of the question. Is that a statement or a question? Rick says, what 15s do you want to run? Man, I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I've looked at that's kind of in the right zone. They need to be able to handle like 15,000 watts. 1,500 watts or more. 1,500 to 2,000 each RMS. I'd like them to be down around 30 hertz FS. That's kind of what I'm looking for. Something with a lot of treble. So I want to play really, really, really low. I want what I call low is like in the low 20s. I don't want to get into teens. I want to get down to the mid 20s, really, mid to high 20s, with the capability of kind of reaching a little bit lower, maybe. That's what I'm looking to do. So 15s, 18s, anything big cone. That's kind of what I'm looking at. And no, sixth order is not out of the question. I'm just not sure I'm comfortable designing a sixth order. I know I can ballpark it and get something that'll probably work pretty good, but I don't know that I can get it where I'd like it to be. You know, most of the guys building the fourth orders, going back to that one, most of the guys building the fourth orders do this 3-to-1 ratio, whereas if you take a big, huge space and divide it into 3 sections, equal sections, one of those sections would be sealed and the other 2 would be an open chamber for your ported chamber, right? I'm thinking I'd want to do it as a 2-to-1 ratio or a 50-50 or somewhere close to 50-50 so I'd have more lows. But I'm still trying to figure this all out. And I want to wrap my head around how this works and how those dynamics change so that I can make an educated decision. And I'm still learning. I'm trying to absorb all the information I can. I've watched every video I can find. I'm reading. I'm studying. I'm trying to learn, you know. So no, a sixth order isn't out of the question. It's just it's a step higher than what I'm trying to get through. I'm trying to learn fourth order things right now. And I know how this all works. What I don't understand completely for sure is the dynamics of what changes when you change the chamber's sizes. You know, on a fourth order, for example, I'm assuming that going with a smaller sealed chamber gives you higher power handling and probably plays higher tones better. Probably better for SPL competition. And a larger bottom chamber is probably better for lows and wind. That's my assumption. I don't know this. That's my logical assumption. As far as sixth order goes, kind of the same thing, except instead of just increasing the chamber size, you're also changing and adding a port to port that bottom chamber into that top chamber. So you have a 24 hertz port, for example, and a 44 hertz port, so forth and so on. But the dynamics of how those ports play together is a very tricky business, and just little tiny things can make a big difference. And so I know it's not out of the question, but as far as those 15s go in, I said 15s, 18s, either one. 21s, you know, I'm not tripping. I want something with large cone area. That's the main thing. I'm thinking I need at least 4 of something with a much larger cone area to get the wind that I'm trying to do. And mainly I'm a demo rig. You know, I'm not an SPL competition guy. I do try to compete, but I mainly do that just to support the community. I show up, I get in line, I run the meter. On the smaller events, I run the meter, you know, I participate, I get involved. That's just to support my community. I don't really care about the competition part of it. The main thing I do that I enjoy doing is demos, parking lot demos, you know, just demos of any kind, showing out. That's what I like to do. Like Burt Reynolds, man. I'm a professional show off. You know, that's just what I do, you know, whether it be with someone in the car or whether it be to a crowd in the parking lot. And believe you me, that Tahoe right now, even with the what I would consider slightly inferior cone area, can definitely put on a show in a parking lot. And it does a pretty damn good demo. Questions. I need questions. Audience participation. Vegetable says, what voltage do you run your RCAs at for my preamp? I am somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 to 5.5 volts. Rick says, hey man, I have to leave. I'll check out the next video. Keep up the good work, dude. Thank you, Rick. I think, well, I think it's around 5, a little over 5 volts. Running off of a DSP. So it's a audio dynamic AT46. AT is auto tuning 46 DSP. 4 in, 6 out. And that gives me my subwoofer. That gives me my subwoofer amp voltage. So Vegetable said, I got an audio controlled DSP. I can run any voltage I want. I'm just curious if there's a good voltage to run. Yeah, usually it's high. Whatever, there are a few amps out there that have trouble taking higher voltage, but in my experience, which there's a lot of it, by far the higher the voltage you run into your amplifier, the better overall your whole setup is going to sound. And the main reason is whenever you're running that voltage down those RCAs, if it's a very, very low voltage, it can pick up noise easier. So engine noise and all the ambient noises that the magnetic fields around can introduce into that cable. And then whenever you have to turn the gain up on the amplifier, you're amplifying that noise as well. So whenever you send a hotter signal down that line into the amplifier, you can turn the amp's gain down, and that hotter signal is going to bury that noise a lot better. So usually higher voltage is usually better, up to the point to where the amp has problems with it. Which is, there are a few amps, like I can't remember if it's tar amps or, and maybe tar amps, I can't remember. So there's a couple of them out there that have trouble with that. Play it and live it, says Sup Fam. Question, which tweeter is the best against water damage? Well, a tweeter designed specifically for marine applications, like Gale Force Audio, for example, has a tweeter. that's going to usually be your best choice. But if you're talking about tweeter materials and just a generic tweeter, I just need to know what kind of tweeter. One that has a Mylar or a PEI, polyethylene, yeah, PEI dome is going to be naturally resistant to moisture. Definitely not one of the aluminum domes or any of the aluminum blended domes. Silk, no. So it would definitely be the PEI polyethylene tweeter, plastic tweeters. So if you're looking for something, the cheap poly tweeters are going to be by default water resistant ish. But if you're wanting to really get something that's waterproof, look up Gale Force Audio and look into their tweeter line. They got some badass tweeters. I got some in my Tahoe. You don't see? I'll show y'all. Hang on. Let's go. Let's take a walk. Where you want to take a little? Damn. Who did that? Oh, yep, that wasn't me this time. That wasn't me. It wasn't me. I know you saw me on the counter. It wasn't me. Let's see here. Stare. Ha! Yeah, baby, hang on. All right. So, what I'm running in here is these are the Gale Force Audio 6.5s. These are DS18 super tweeters. That's what I had to begin with, and I'm running all of them. But these are the Gale Force tweeters right here. They're designed to be highly water resistant. So if I'm going to, and I'm looking to replace these with a set of their independent tweeters, I got to holler at them about that. But I want to put the Gale Force tweeters in there. Nothing wrong with the DS18 tweeters. Those are actually, they're like $30 a set for two. I got them for free from a buddy, and they all work and they all sound great. They handle power. They do all the tweeter things. Cannot complain, but I want to match them up. So, you know, I'm going to get some of these guys to put over here. But these are the guys. Gale Force Audio F1 series. And then, of course, they have the tweeters they're going to be selling. They either have them now or they're going to have them separate tweeter units that you can put in that are highly water resistant. But so the things you got to think about with a tweeter or with any speaker as far as water resistance goes is the cone material, whether or not it's, you know, hydroscopic, whether the basket and frame, whether if you're dealing with salt water, you know, you got that to worry about because you don't want the oceans corrode aluminum. If you got any kind of aluminum and you live near the ocean, you'll struggle with the salt water in the air corroding your aluminum badly. And so you definitely don't want to run copper-clad aluminum wire out there, but you also don't want to run a aluminum voice coil former, or an aluminum basket, because the aluminum basket and the voice coil former can build up corrosion and get in the gap and cause just chaos inside of any kind of speaker. So you got to consider all that stuff. When it comes to a tweeter, using a much more hydroscopic materials are going to help with the outside part, but you still got to make sure that you're running pure copper inside or plastic. So a lot of times, like these guys, these Gale Force Audio F1s are running a, I forget what it's called. It's basically a plastic coil former. I forget what it's called, though. There's another name for it, but it's plastic. And that's because the corrosion from the water can cause issues on a aluminum voice coil former. So you guys know what that is, I'm sure. But it's really common to run aluminum coil formers because they're lightweight and they're very strong. And those are two things that are very important in car audio, any audio reproduction: lightweight and strong. Light and stiff. We're taking a trip. Taking a trip, baby. Light and stiff. I think I'm being attacked by cats. All right, don't worry. They're YouTube safe cats. So it's like this voice coil, right? Copper windings, and you have an aluminum former. The former is the part that the coil is wrapped around. Well, since this all has to go in a gap, right, like this, and move back and forth in this gap, if you get any corrosion built up on this former on the inside, that makes this bigger, and also corrosion can build up underneath the copper windings, make that bigger, make this whole thing bigger, thicker. It can't go through the gap anymore, and then you get rub, and rub is, yeah, broken stuff happens. So yeah, another way to choose a tweeter is cheap. The cheapest tweeter you can buy. That way, when it blows up, you're not out much money. Yes. Well, Gale Force, I don't have. I can't remember. But you got me thinking. But you can go to Gale Force through Big Jeff. Just head over to Big Jeff, type in Gale Force in the search thing there. And yeah, you can use that. If I don't have it, I don't think I have. I have B2. I don't think I have Gale Force down there. I don't have a Gale Force specific link. It's just we just use Big Jeff for that link. So hopefully that answered that question. But yeah. Now I can tell you that the Gale Force Audio makes really nice stuff. So you notice I'm running marine grade speakers in my front doors. They sound phenomenal. You guys heard I've done demos of the Tahoe whenever, outside demos. I can't really do it with this microphone because this microphone just murders any kind of outside noise. It's set up to do that specifically. I could though. Do y'all want me to crank it up? I need a show of hands. I have an option, but I need a show of hands. I'll let you hear what I'm talking about. You guys won't be able to pick out the bass. He says, hell yeah. I guess one hand will have to do. All right, we're going to turn it on. I can't crank it up loud because my neighbor who drives that car is here, and he may not be, he may be asleep. So I don't know. Oh no, yeah. My neighbor, my main neighbor, I try to be real nice to him 'cause he's a hell of a nice guy. My other neighbors, the next door neighbors, I'll torture them a little bit. But let's see here. We'll play a little bit. So I want to unplug this mic and to hopefully it switched mics. We'll do a little something, something. Not too shabby, huh? Yo, I don't want to torture my neighbor too much. He's pretty cool. He's a cool dude. He ain't never complained, and I don't want to give him any right to. All right, we got audio back. Give me a heads up. You hear that? I'm going to have to hit the FU button on him. But, thank you, sir. Thank you. Do you guys have any more questions before I pull the plug on this one? This has been one of those things that I just thought I would do and have some fun with you guys, goofing around, talking about what I got going on and what's in my brain. I also want to know if y'all have any suggestions for ideas for future videos, as I'm putting together a list of things that I want to do over the next couple of months, and so I'm looking for suggestions from you guys as to what y'all would like to see. Because before I start doing videos, I also have to do a lot of research. So the way I do things is I take a subject matter that I'm pretty well grounded on, and then I research into it to make sure I'm not missing anything. Then I try to squish it down into something that's easy to absorb for the average person, meaning myself. Once I get it trickled into my brain, I push it back out. And play it and live it, says the DC Offset. Yeah, I've already done quite a bit of research on that, man. Okay, we'll do a quick talk about DC offset. So on your amplifier's output, it puts out an AC signal. Okay, so it's an alternating current wave. In other words, it looks like this, right? And that wave has a center point. That's a 0 point. So as the wave goes up, it goes up in dB this way and then down in dB this way. Up in dB and down in dB. When it hits that middle point, it's 0 dB. That's what the wave looks like. When you have DC offset, that's direct current offset. Direct current just goes up or down. It doesn't do this. That's alternating. Direct is just one way. A DC offset will cause your center line to be a little bit of something present above or below that center line, which causes the up and down wave like this to shift up or down slightly, not be centered on that 0 line. This can cause you to experience clipping before you normally would. So let's say your clip ceiling is here, okay, and then normally your bandwidth is here when it's going up and down. And your DC offset pushes up a little bit, that pushes that bandwidth up to that ceiling, and now you'll actually clip on the top or the bottom, depending on which way it's going, before you would have. So it can cause you to lose potential output and clip in an odd way. So you have to watch that. GZ52, what's the difference between excess power AGM and any other AGM, say interstate? Not a damn bit. Same thing. In fact, and there's only like 5 or 6 manufacturers that make AGM batteries in the United States. So, and every brand buys their batteries from these manufacturers. Sometimes they use slightly different specs, like they may use more of a certain type of mesh or more of a material of this type of material, that type of material, those types of things. But honestly, there's not a lot. Pretty much the same thing. Okay, you're paying a bigger price and you get a sticker. I hate to say it, man, but it's the truth. Now, the difference between a good quality AGM and a crap AGM can be substantial. But as long as you're getting a good quality AGM, you're going to be getting pretty much the same thing. And Interstate's great source, because you can get them. You can go to the Interstate dealer and buy their redone batteries. I forget what they call them. They sell them for like $50-$60 a piece, though, like $100 tops. Yeah, find your local Interstate dealer and look into their reconditioned batteries. Big, huge price jump, man. And you can be running the high-end Interstate batteries and be jamming. Yeah, North Star is solid, but again, at North Star manufacturers, well, actually North Star doesn't technically exist anymore. It's Odyssey, but Odyssey manufactures batteries for a whole lot of people. So yeah, Odyssey, North Star, same thing. Vegetable says, what do you think about basehead watt meter versus SMD? I think it's a whole lot less expensive. It doesn't do some of the tricks that the SMD meter does, but who buys the SMD meter for those tricks? It's got a few extra little bells and whistles. I will say this, though. The basehead garage watt meter works fine for a couple of the amps that I've checked, but it doesn't work with my amp. And because the DC offset with my amplifier, it won't work with it. It'll just turn itself off. If the If the SMD meter is more compliant to the weird DC offset of some of these amplifiers, that might be a thing. I don't know. I'm still undereducated in that department. But, I mean, honestly, there's two different tools that have one similar characteristic. They do different jobs. The SMD is more of a setup that you can move around and jump from job to job, test different amps, whereas the basic garage meter is more of something that you install in a permanent location. Yeah, it is what it is. Scotty, I do Gotti. What's up, brother? And what's up to you too, my friend? So, yeah, North Star jams. I got, let's see if I can make this stupid thing work. Scotty, I do Gotti. What a hellified name. I love it. All right. Y'all get ready to go upside down. This will be fun. All right. Oh, stop. Don't get drunk yet. We're not done. Okay, here we go. Here we go. There you go, baby. Taking a little trip. Taking a little trip. Got earplug says, what's up from Cincinnati? What's up? Cincinnati skyline. Man, I do love some Cincinnati. I've never been in the city too much, but I've driven through it a whole lot, and it's beautiful. Beautiful. Scott Smith. Yeah, I agree. It's boring. I mean, it ain't a bad last name. My mom's last name was Smith. So I have lots of Smiths in my family. But it's just it's boring. I agree. At least your first name isn't John. Because that would be infinitely worse. And you know, there's some poor guy out there whose name is, in fact, John Doe. And he has a lot of dead relatives. Have we got any more questions today, folks? I'm all about questions. Scotty said, yeah, I'm good on that. El Fuego made it into the house today. What's up, El Fuego? This is a surprise live, brother. I haven't seen Bobby Burkett today. So you just happened upon here all on their lonesome. Vegetable, do you want to stay with Dep Bunts or jump to Tar Amps training? Now, I like my Dep Bunts, man. I've had great luck with them, and taken lots of punishment, and I don't have any. I have no inclination to jump on the Tar Amps train. I don't have any problem with it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not. I don't have an adverse reaction when I think about Tar Amps. I just have no desire to jump amp companies. I'm always willing to, entertain other amps. I've got a few other amps. The alts. I am how are my alts doing? Baby. Oh, crazy people. Crazy people in this world. There's two settings on that camera. It always throws me off. How about we have ourselves a little peek under the hood? A little peeky peek. See if we can get a little bit of a decent angle of the dangle. Still hold it up all these years later, man. Everything's just rock solid. My GP370 doing its job, and that electrical, that cheap Chinese electrical 300 amp alternator that I didn't think was going to last for a hot minute is still putting out power, still working flawlessly. So if you guys are looking for a really cheap high output alternator, see if we can get that tag clean enough where y'all can see it. That's what I'd recommend. Going with that dude right there. They have I didn't think it was going to last more than, you know, a month or two maybe. And it's been just flawless. I haven't had a single issue with the electrical alternator. Everything is just hunky-dory, man. So I don't have any issues with that. And the amp's running fine too. The only problem I have is that DC offset messing it up so that the watt meter won't work. I don't know. I've been in contact with the guys at Basehead Garage, trying to hash out that problem. They said they have two other amps that they found had the same problem. They were really obscure Brazilian amps that no one's running. Like I think one of them may have been a Banda and one of them was something else. A couple of Brazilian amps that nobody runs in the United States had a really high DC offset. And mine may be specific to my amp. Also, your DC offset can change over time, like as an amp ages or gets the tar beat out of it. It can get more, it can get an increased DC offset. I do have them connected together, both alts. But what you seen when I was showing you, I'm not going to open it back up. It's just too much work to go back and open it back up. I'm too fat and old and lazy. But what you seen was I've got the wire running off, and then it goes around an angle, goes through a switch, and then goes to the other one. So it's tied in through a switch to where I can disconnect it. Right now it is currently switched open. The reason I do that is because my AGM battery and my lithium batteries set at different voltages. So if I'm going to leave it sitting for any length of time, I separate them in there. One's on one alternator and one's on the other alternator. So that switch allows me to separate those two charging systems. Whenever I'm not doing big bass things, I'll separate them so that the voltages rest, you know, at their best point. But whenever I want to go full tilt boogie, I can hook them together and I can get all the power. Let's see. Missed a couple of things here. What happened? Oh, yeah. Do I use a software designer for a subwoofer enclosure? I have in the past. I like, I can never remember the name of the damn thing. I type in Basebox Pro and I end up finding this software every time. It's something like Subbox Pro or something like that. I used it to figure out port links and whatnot. I have a good friend that has Basebox Pro, and I usually go to him, and me and him work together on designing boxes because he's got more experience with box designs than I do. So I defer to someone with more knowledge than myself whenever I want to do an actual design. Scotty said, okay, that's cool. Looks way better like that. Cool beans, brother. Play it and live it. So where the DC offset would start from the head unit. No. It's just the amp. Okay, well, no, let me take that back. It can be in multiple places. The DC offset can be in the recording. It can be on the track. It can also be in the head unit. It can also be in a DSP. It can be in a line driver. It can be in an EQ. It can be in the amplifier. In my case, it's in the amplifier itself. It was nice being here. Just got off work, shower and chill. Have a wonderful day. Keep on basing. You too, man. I'm going to be getting off here in a second anyway myself. Have a good night, Scotty. Do I got any more questions before we call it a day? El Fuego, he didn't say anything. He came and left. I hope you're feeling better, El Fuego. You've been pretty quiet. Haven't been speaking up. Not very vocal. I'm worried about you. Anybody else? Any questions? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, guys. Then it's been good. Peace.